So subscribe for more content and outsourcing videos just like this one. And until the next, keep building the business you love. And we are done. That's video 4 of the day, 14 for the week, 34 over the last 2 weeks. We are done with content through September 25th of 2019. This is amazing. I'm literally 3 months ahead on content. Let me tell you why I did it. Hey everyone, and the reason why I did it is because I'm going to embark on part 2 of my digital nomad test, and this time I'm going to be hitting up Southeast Asia. And the reason I say part 2 is because this will actually be the second time I take a stab at being a digital nomad. So the first time was in fact just an experiment, just like this one, so it's not like I'm planning that I have enough income and resolve, mainly the resolve part, to just up and leave forever, right? So the first time I tried this out, I was in Latin America and I stayed there for about 2 months, and I just experienced what it was like working out of an Airbnb in another country with just my laptop, recording on my phone, and it was an absolute disaster. I missed all of my gear. I missed the nicer camera. I would have needed a nicer camera. I shouldn't say missed. I would have needed a nicer camera, and I would have needed mobile lighting, and just there was a lot of things where I pretty much packed as if I was going to work at a coffee shop, because I get a lot of work done at a coffee shop. I was like, well, just like being at a coffee shop every day, it'll work out, it'll be great. No, absolutely not. And the internet's slow connectivity was something that was a real pain, and I think it's just going to, the internet in particular is really a subjective thing, as I've been doing research, but I'm digressing, I won't get into that. So for this particular trip, I'm going to right now be going to Singapore and the Philippines. The initial stint is going to last at least 3 months, and if I like it, then maybe we'll continue. If it drives me nuts, then we might try a different location. I've also been looking at Chiang Mai and Bali because those are really big hotspots for digital nomads apparently, and also just if I can bear it, because I actually don't like traveling. And this is something that I didn't realize made me so different from other digital nomads, because my video editor was so kindly explaining how I was weird, or he didn't call me weird because he's nice, but different in terms of I look at this as an opportunity to cut costs, right? The only reason I'm really looking at this is because if I want to grow a big business and I want to enjoy more of the income someday, then it makes sense to go to a place where it's going to cost less to put food in my stomach and keep a roof over my head. So that's my main goal in this whole digital nomad thing. Whereas I realize for a lot of people, they want a business so they can travel, whereas I'm going to travel so I can keep my business. And I think that's a weird distinction. I know I'm in a much, much smaller group of people who view it that way, just based upon the vlogs and research that I have been doing. But I'm, of course, going to bring you along the journey. Actually, the first 2 weeks of August, I am just going to be taking a break because I am really, really tired. But that is why I did 3 months of content, so that I can go to those other countries, somewhat get settled, and then have a nice runway just in case something goes wrong. Because when I went to Latin America, I only had a week runway, and boy, that was some rough content. It's never fun making content when you're trying to get it out because it's supposed to come out the next week. Whereas here, I'm going to have at least a month buffer, so if anything goes wrong, if my equipment breaks, which I'll show you, I've spent way too much money on travel equipment for recording, then I will have enough of a buffer in order to keep the channel content going, even though I'm in Southeast Asia going crazy over why I can't make content anymore. So that's the big reveal. That's why I've been going so hard on content creation. And just for the heck of it, I'll throw in another one. We're actually going to start a second channel, but I'll talk more about that next week when I start making that content. And if you have any questions about being a digital nomad or anything that you've ever been curious about, please comment below, because what I like to do, I'll send out a couple emails as well, is just learn from you what you're interested in learning or knowing, and then I'll go actually over there and answer those questions. Because one of the biggest things I've noticed in just all of this journey is when you can experience something, even if it's just for a month. Like I couldn't afford to just up and leave and go live in another country 2 years ago, and I can barely afford to do that now. So even though I was there for a month, I learned a tremendous amount just from that short experience. And now here we are almost 2 years later, and I have that experience to pull on to try for another longer stint. But I don't think you ever have to look at it as you have to get all the experience or just do it all at once. So if you have any questions, do make sure you comment below. I know this is going to be a little bit of a longer, kind of more boring vlog because I'm just going to sit here and talk for most of it. But before I show you or give you a little preview of the gear, I'm still working on the suitcases and the weight and all that fun TSA stuff that, no, it's not fun. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I think one suitcase is just going to have to be over 50 pounds. But before we do that, I need to jump into my laptop, check in with my team, and work on some B-roll shots, because now that we are done, keyword being done, we're going to work on perfecting some of the video content. And I think I say done is better than perfect a lot, so we've done all the videos through September, so they are absolutely done. So now that we have the time, we're gonna go back and start looking at how to actually improve them a little bit so we stop using so much stock footage. But that's on me, so I'll do that, and then I'll show you the suitcase. And of course, things took way longer than expected. But before I get into what this guy is and all of the gear I have to show you, I just want to share a funny story. I was on a sales call earlier, and I was just wearing this sweater, and the microphone was right by the zipper. And so every time I talked, it kept hitting, and I moved the mic up a little bit, and it just kept hitting it. And so literally during it, I took off just half my sweater while I was talking. Sharing that because it's just ridiculous the silly little things that can go wrong sometimes. So this is an insert for something called a Pelican case. I think it's just some advanced camera people for real videographers, but this is essentially what's going to be in my carry-on. And what's nice about it is this entire inside is all Velcro. So I was able to run over to Amazon and I got a giant USB hub right here, and using all of these little strips I was able to Velcro. So everything that you're looking at is pretty much Velcroed in. And what's cool about this is I'm going to be able, one of the things that really bugged me the last time was, packing and unpacking while you're trying to move. So this is pretty much just like a drawer that's going to sit in my suitcase. So in addition to having more USB cables than I need, I have this nice little charging station here for the battery packs that are going to be used for the lights. And I'm actually using one of the lights right now to make this corner a little less dark. And then right here I have a charger for the camera batteries that I have, so those plop right in there. I've got 4 of them, charges 2 at a time. An old cell phone. Still playing with stuff, right? But what's really cool, or I think is really cool, is I set it up so that everything in here, minus the fact that I'm probably going to have some heat problems, just connects via this cord. So with a extension cord, I'm going to be able to charge everything and have a couple extra USB-C and then USB-C or USB-A, the one that came before C, because things like my headphones and MX Master still use the old version, and then my GoPro charger will be right here. And of course, then we have the oh so fancy converter for every single country imaginable, I guess, or some combination where they're in. So that is a quick overview. Again, I'll do a rundown, but something that I just want to share with you because this took an amazingly long time to research and find, especially finding a version that fits in my case. You saw from the B-rolls earlier, I actually have a longer one that's going to go in my checked bag. And then part 2 of the problem of travel was I actually broke my Yeti the last time I traveled with it. So this time I went and picked up a case and just took a knife and cut out the foam that came in the original packaging so I can thoroughly protect this overpriced $200 some odd mic. And then the final thing that I'll put up a B-roll of me working on it earlier, but I picked up 2 of these screens. Now I didn't pick up the touchscreen versions, I'm not that fancy, but I think these mobile versions still cost like just under $270 or so. And these will be part of my mobile workstation. So in addition to some
mounts that I have, I'll be able to use both of these with my Windows laptop you can see in the background. For some reason, Mac is not allowing me to connect both at the same time. I think that's just an OS limitation unless I get a hub. And so that does it for a quick rundown of the gear I have so far for this part 2 of this experiment. And it may seem excessive, and it might be, but the only defense I have is I tried this once with just the laptop, and it drove me nuts. And so that is a quick rundown of the gear I have so far. So thank you so much for watching. I sincerely hope you got some inspiration and value out of this video, maybe? I don't know. It was more just of a report of what's going. It felt more like an update than like what I learned today. But until the next, keep building the business you love.